solar system series known as Y, where we talk about the coldest sign in this ecliptic known as Scorpio. Now, to understand why Scorpio is this way, you need to know where Scorpio came from. First things first, Scorpio is fixed water, being fixated on your own way of feeling and adding emotion to things. And you ever wondered why people say, damn, that person is cold as an ice cube? They were probably a Scorpio. They were so deep, so dark, that they didn't share their emotions whatsoever because they probably feel that others couldn't handle it. Now, before we get sidetracked, let's explain where Scorpio came from and why it is the way it is. So, Scorpio was born from the 8th house. The 8th house is the life situation of anything you're unaware of in general. It's not that scary, it's just occult things behind closed doors, and as I mentioned, anything and everything that you are unaware of in general. Now, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, the planet of passion, willpower, aggression, motivation, intent, and basically any emotion that gets your ass up off the couch and actually doing something. Scorpio is also co-ruled by Pluto. To understand Pluto's influence, which is basically the power to change, you need to understand Mars, because Pluto is Mars multiplied to whatever degree you want above 10. It's so intense that it puts you through a transformation experience that will either give birth to something or kill something off. But that's kind of a conundrum right there, because to create the space for birth, you need to kill something off. Now, Scorpio is also away in Earth as well as Venus. Earth is the vibration of growth, structuring, nurturing, and if you want to really understand Earth, just throw a seed on the ground and watch a plant grow, and that's the vibration of Earth in a nutshell. Now, it's also away in Venus, as I mentioned. Venus is the planet of love, appreciation, values, as well as how you relate to others. Now, to move to the worst placement for Scorpio, we have the moon. The moon is your mind, your reactions, how you respond to things, as well as your emotional state. And these are the basic planets, houses, and elements, as well as modalities that break down the archetype of this fixed water sign. Alright, now, Saturn in Scorpio. So, let's talk about Saturn, right? What is Saturn? What does Saturn influence? What does it represent? What does Father Time controlling ass do in this realm when it looks through Scorpio? But Saturn. So, Saturn is the planet of boundaries, restrictions, limits, as well as how one views reality. This is how you create structure for yourself. This is how you engage with structure in the outside world. This is how you this is how you build and support yourself in a nutshell. So, when this is placed in Scorpio, you can kind of look at this as like, instead of creating building blocks and platforms for you to stand on, you build ice blocks in a sense. And this can be like the coldest, strongest, like deep glacier ice that you could possibly come up with. But you're still building ice blocks. And we're going to come back to why that is in a second, you know what I'm saying? Now, Saturn and Scorpio people, they don't exactly just work on anything, you know what I'm saying? They have to deeply desire something they are working towards or working on. And now, the thing with Scorpio and desire is that they don't necessarily always do it for their desires, you know? If these are lower awareness Saturn and Scorpio people, they may be forced by something that they feel so strongly from the outside world, which happens a lot more often than you think. They may, and it may be for themselves, you know what I'm saying? You really never know, because at the end of the day, it is kind of always for yourself, but you get what I'm saying here. Sometimes outer influence make you believe something that you don't necessarily have to believe, but you're doing it anyway. And then you're kind of building structure around how you feel about that. So it gets there's a lot of specifics where it gets kind of weird with Scorpio. These people go so deep and they just build blocks, shut things out, and just work. These people are oddly comfortable with the work process, because with Scorpio, they fear the unknown and they are a stay down till you come up type of sign. So they're always they like to stay in the work process. They like to cross their T's, dot their I's. They like to just sit and keep building. And this isn't the greatest thing in the world, because if you're building and building and building, and the whole point is to support yourself at some point, what are you building for? And this is something that Saturn and Scorpio people really miss a lot of the time, because the way that they build their own sense of support is by going through a transformation process. And this just brings you right back to the point that I was talking about before. Like, what's the point of building if you're not going to just stay up where you are and actually just enjoy it? This is something that Scorpios struggle with, and this is something that they're going to need to work on, Oh, here's another freaking work process, and, stay down and work on it until you come up type of thing for you to do. Sorry to add on, but you're already doing it, you know what I'm saying? Now, if we remember when I was talking about the ice blocks, why I specifically mentioned ice blocks for Saturn and Scorpio is been supported by this whole unknown statement, and stay down until you come up. Saturn and Scorpio people are very used to what they work on and what they're building towards. You just get ripped away from them and melted in an instant, This is why they always want to be in the work process. This is why they always just want to sit there. And this is why they always just brood and just stay in that work vibe. Because if they keep building and building and building and building and working on and just building these ice blocks to sort of you can sort of imagine it as like an igloo to keep them safe and keep all that unknown out. They just, like I said, they just keep brushing over the past that this is all to support them. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, some Saturn and Scorpios do know this, and they do know how to build it so they can sit on top of something and actually have themselves be supported instead of supporting the unknown in general. But with that being said, we still have to touch on the ice blocks, because what exactly is this ice and why are they using ice as a means to build? What I mean by this is when they are always being, just fixated on that kind of building process type of thing, they're building with the unknown being in the back of their mind, So it's like a final destruction type of thing for the Death Star, where it's like, you're not going to destroy it, I'm going to destroy it. And they just brood, transform, and just take their ice, turn it into water, so that they can rebuild again. This is where that unknown in the back of their mind always comes from, because they're just waiting, ready, and they're just, it's just like they're not ready, they're waiting, you know what I'm saying? Because they just fear the unknown so much, which is what fuels their drive to create structure. And yet, that fuel that drives their creation for structure for themselves is all based off the fear of it being taken away. And it's just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Really, why? And this is just, don't get me wrong, sometimes they may never actually just go through that process of transforming in such a negative way. But when they do it in that specific way, it's sort of like they're asking for it, and they want it deep down, which is why they just kind of selectively do it for themselves periodically. But, outside of all that, let's just break down these Scorpio alignments and get over with that so you guys can sort of just fix whatever you want. Life is all about consciously experience what you want. So if this is something you want, plan around it. If not, go with it. Well, vice versa, you know what I mean. Anyways, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, the planet of passion, willpower, aggression, motivation, and basically any emotion that gets your ass up off the couch to do something. This is where Scorpio is the feminine side of, so it receives a lot of that. Now, Scorpio is co-ruled by Pluto, the planet of power and control issues, and basically just the power to change, Scorpio is also away in Venus and Earth. Venus is the planet of love, appreciation, values, as well as how one relates to others, and Earth is the planet of nurturing, growth, stability, and scheduling. Now, I'm not even going to say it like that anymore, but Scorpio falls in the moon. We'll leave it at that. Anyways, thanks for following the solar system series known as Why, where we talk about the coldest sign in this ecliptic, Scorpio.